Hi, I'm Dan Schmitt. I do a weekly television show called Team Chicago Challenge. My website is teamchicago.tv. Teamchicago.tv. We are at Chicago Access. I got involved with Access TV going back to 1986 with Chicago Access. I mean, I could explain more about Access TV, but it's basically you, the public, have the opportunity to produce TV shows, and the cable company got to give you a space to put the shows on. And nowadays, in 2019, with YouTube, anybody can produce a TV show and launch stuff up to YouTube. So I've been launching stuff up to YouTube. I got over 300 clips about motorcycle racing. I got another 40 or so clips that are on politics to educate people. But my t-shirt artwork have to go along with the free road race school at Grattan Raceway, starting in 1993, running all the way to 2016, and this is the artwork. So I'm going to show part of it in this clip, and then you're going to have to look on YouTube and find the second clip, and we'll look at the second part of this t-shirt artwork, and I'm going to show you some of the videos that go along with it. So in the next 20 or 25 minutes, you're going to learn something about Team Chicago, Chicago Access, and my artwork that I did with the school at Grattan Raceway.
So the first piece of art we're putting up is this picture of a yellow motorcycle. 4 and 6 was racing yellow bikes at that time. And let me tell you a little bit about Jimmy Rashid first. When I started racing motorcycles in 1970, I raced my Triumph. It wasn't until 1972 when I got my pro license that Jimmy Rashid, who lived in the neighborhood, started hanging around and helping me with my Triumph. So yeah, he might have even helped me back in 70 and 71 when I was racing my Triumph on it. But he was only a 14-year-old kid hanging around, but mechanically, he was a knowledge that you can't believe. Jimmy, to this day, I still think is the greatest mechanic I know. But I'm going to show you some video now of 4 and 6 when they were on Montrose and Kimball. They were the first motorcycle shop in Chicagoland to get a dyno. So the integration between me, Team Chicago, 4 and 6 goes all the way back to 1980, 81. And Jimmy wanted to go drag racing. I convinced him with the Sega to go road racing. The rest is history. And Ed Hilton, I would say right now, is probably the finest engine builder I have ever known. We raced the WERA National Endurance Series for 15 years. It was Ed that was taking them engines apart, putting them back together, and my engines ran perfect. So this first picture, but let's go and see what the dyno at 4 and 6, Montrose and Kimball, and really gives you a good idea what 4 and 6 was all about.
This is the photo of Jim Rashid's Yamaha 750 Seika that was taken by Mike Calvert. This photo was taken at IRP, it's Indianapolis Raceway Park. Mike also shot the Super 8 film clip racing at IRP, Indianapolis Raceway Park. As I go under the grandstands and onto the world famous drag strip. This is the 4 and 6 prepared Jimmy Rashid 750 Seika, and I'm racing this bike. This is probably 1981, running a WERA event, Western Eastern Road Race Association. And here I am catching up with Buzz Pritz. Buzz eventually became the president of WERA. I raced with Buzz on the National Endurance Series, and here's me passing Buzz. Buzz is on a 750 Honda. It was big fun at IRP. And this photo has Ed Hilton, myself, and Jim Rashid. We are standing behind the 750 Seika that we had ready for Daytona in 1984. And now we're going to head to the dyno room at Montrose and Kimball at 4 and 6.
Okay, before I get any further, this is Jim Rashid and Eddie Hilton from 4 and 6 Cycle, and we're here with my bike on their Dyno Tune dyno, and it's the only one in the Midwest, correct?
Correct, so far.
All right, now I came by here about 3 weeks ago. I didn't even know they had the dyno, but as we're going to show you, they got a computer system hooked up so we can look back at where the readouts were, where the bike was when we began, and where the bike is when we end up this show. So we're going to run it first with the stock exhaust. Then we're going to go to add in the pipe and see what kind of horsepower difference, which is adding the pipe. Then we're going to get into putting the Dyno Jet kit in the carburetor, which will improve the performance and make the bike run better.
More responsive.
Okay, and then we'll all during this process, and we're even going to play around with the airbox too.
Right.
All during this process, we're going to be able to go back to the dyno, go back to the computer, and get all the readouts we need. Correct that?
Okay, we already have Dan's bike set up on the dyno. We've hooked up inputs for the RPM onto the bike. We also have to input the correct weather information for this run, so we get proper corrected readings. Input just a little bit of information about what we're doing with this bike. And now we're up and ready to run for Jim to start the bike and make the run. Now while the bike's running, you probably won't be able to get any audio other than the bike running. So he's going to start the bike, run it up through first, second, and third gear, and then in fourth gear at a low mile-an-hour reading, he's just going to roll on and hit it hard and accelerate all the way out to red line. The computer will automatically pick up all the readings off the bike and store them in its memories.
And you should also mention that, just to save time, we've already pre-warmed the bike up, so we're ready to go. By hitting the sampling button, I can start the computer gathering the information.
As you can see from this chart, by adding a pipe, doing the jet kit, and using the dyno, we picked up 10 horsepower. We went from 80 horsepower to 90 horsepower on this FZR.
So another piece of artwork that we put up is Rocket with the Z-Man. So this is another early piece of artwork. I was involved with E.J. Fasten, a good friend from Grattan Raceway, and in '86 we came up with an idea to attract more spectators to the races, because Grattan Raceway is a beautiful racetrack, but we were never getting enough spectators. So I figured the best way to get more spectators is to put on a spectacular race. So we came up with this idea of the Micigan Gran Prix race, which was a 10-lap race, open at novice riders and expert riders, any size motorcycle. So Scott Zampak, which was a real good friend of mine, he won the championship in '87 when he was only a novice. He ran great racing. And I did a t-shirt, Rock with the Z-Man. Big selling shirt. Everybody loved the shirt. It was a very popular shirt, and that's why I got that up. It still looks pretty spectacular. And I'm going to show you an interview I had.
As we watched the start of a race at Grattan Raceway, back in the pits, I had a chance to talk to Scott Zampak. He's going to tell us about the evolution of production motorcycle road racing.
Yeah, I'd like to take a few minutes and discuss some of the differences that you can do to the motorcycle, some changes you can make in regards to the classes that you ride. In 1986, when Suzuki first started with their National Cup Series, the rules were basically production rules. What that means is the motorcycle has to be production as the way it came off the showroom floor. Only a few changes can be made. You can go to a different tire. You can add, it has to be a DOT racing tire. You can do a shock absorber change, go to an aftermarket shock absorber, and as well as front suspension. Other than that, the motorcycle had to have stock exhaust system, stock carburation, basically everything the way it came off the showroom floor. You were allowed to remove your lights and blinkers and things. As the rules progressed, they moved into a super sport class. That was designed to enhance the appeal of the crowd a little bit, work a little bit better for the spectators. You were allowed to add an aftermarket exhaust system, make the racing sound a little bit more exciting, as well as remove your air cleaner and airbox system, giving the bikes considerably more horsepower to increase the speed of the class, so it was a little bit more exciting for the riders as well as the spectators. They also run motorcycle road racing in superbike class, which is mostly professionally ranked riders. With that, you can just about do everything that money can buy to the motorcycle. You can go with different wheel and swing arm assemblies. You can do just about any internal modifications to the engine, big bore piston kits, different carburetor systems, everything to enhance the horsepower of the motorcycle. For this racing season, the racing and organizations have initiated a class called Super Stock. What they've tried to do is make it good for the riders as well as for the racers. Super Stock class, all that can be changed would be a different set of tires, aftermarket exhaust system to make it exciting for the spectators, changing your shock absorbers or your suspension. You just have to run stock motors, stock carburation, so it kind of keeps it cost conscious for us racers, but adds a little bit of excitement to the appeal for the spectators. Other than that, it makes the racing much more competitive because we're all on equally matched and equally prepared motorcycles. That's about it. I'd like to thank my sponsors for this racing season: Dunlop Tires, AGV Helmets, Vance & Hines Exhaust Systems, DynoJet Carburation System, Spectral Oil, and I'm also getting help from Kirker Exhaust on my 600 Yamaha. Other than that, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Scott, a great motorcycle racer. And as we look at the action from the Micigan Gran Prix, this is 1989. I should point out that Jim Knipp was a 1986 Micigan Gran Prix champ on a 500cc four-cylinder, two-stroke Yamaha. Scott Zampak won the Micigan Grand Prix Championship in 1987 on a 1100 Suzuki. In 1988, Phil Plummo won the championship with a 750 Honda, and in 1989, it was Fritz Klein that won the championship on his 750 Yamaha. And now we're jumping ahead, April 4th, 1993, the first free road race school at Grattan Raceway. It's the Grattan Raceway Team Chicago Road Race School. The school was scheduled for Saturday, April 3rd. A major snowstorm came through West Michigan, so it was the Fossen boys, Kurt and Hugh, plowed the track. The weather got nice on Sunday, and we held the school on Sunday. There was approximately 35 students in the school and 10 or 12 instructors. This shirt design was given out in 1994, the first year that I gave away a shirt to the instructors, and I sold the shirt to the graduates. The next t-shirt design we're going to look at is the shirt that we gave to our instructors at the road race school at Grattan Raceway in 1995.
The next piece we're going to look at is a picture of Dave Henderson, who was racing with me and myself. Now, I should point out that Dave Henderson worked at U.S. Cable in Waukegan. So part of, besides having my show on in Chicago, and my good friend Bill Willett was also producing a show, but we were starting to take our shows and taking it to the other cable outlets in Chicagoland. So Dave joined Team Chicago, then we were doing the road racing. At that time, all right, I got 2 bikes from the Yamaha dealers, 2 FZRs, and then I got, later on we got YZFs. So this picture represents 1995. In 1995, Dave and I ran our first official Team Chicago endurance race. So that was 1995. So, but Dave started road racing with me starting in 92. So we did Blackhawk Farms, and then we did Grattan, Blackhawk Farms, and also go to Road America. So we raced with WERA. I had a little falling out with WERA. We raced with CCS. Then WERA and Evelyn and I and Buzz all got back together again. In 95, we ran our first official, because I was getting tired of just running Blackhawk and Grattan. There was 5 races at Blackhawk, 5 races at Grattan. So that's how Dave got involved. Dave raced with me from 92 to 95, 96, 97.
A national championship, the WERA National Championship Endurance Race. Today we're just going to look at the endurance race. It's a 4-hour event. Team Chicago's racing, and Dave and myself are going to be riding the bike, and I'll tell you, we're going to be going for it. We're going to try to pick up a win or finish in the top 5 places, because there is Yamaha contingency money. 2-minute board is being shown. All the crew members have to get off the grid. The grid is lined up according to points. And Team Chicago started from the second wave. Dave Hendrickson is riding the first hour. We're planning to do the 1 hour apiece. Each of us would ride 2 hours. Going through turn 1. Dave is passing on the outside. He just went by 11, 12 bikes just on the start. As long as nobody goes down in front of you, passing on the outside is the way to go. Coming to the Grattan hump, heading into the S's. Dave almost runs into the back of that Harley Davidson Buell. It's at Nicholson, or American Harley on Ann Arbor. Just gets around it. Coming down on the front straightaway, number 2, Team Pearl, is up front. Team Suzuki's in second place. Battle going on between Airport Racing and Ohio Superbike Racing. Northwest Honda Racing's up there. Those guys are all running heavyweight, super sport, or superbike. Team Pearls is running heavyweight superbike. Team Suzuki's heavyweight superbike. They're both on 1100cc Suzukis. Got a Kawasaki up there. Another Suzuki, Honda, Cow, as we join Dave Hendrickson on the Team Chicago bike. Going through the off-camber and the sweeping right-hander.
We're going to jump ahead and get the results after 3 hours of racing.
So getting into the third hour was Team Suzuki Endurance up front. Northwest Honda Racing was second. HP Motorsports was third. RA Racing was fourth. Airport was fifth. Ohio Superbike was sixth. TKO was seventh. Canton Racing was eighth. H&H Racing was ninth. And Post Brothers Racing was 10th. Team Chicago is right in 23rd.
Next piece of art. Now this we lifted from the comic strip Terry and the Pirates. And if you are familiar with, or if you've never heard of Terry and the Pirates, let me give you a little briefing. This cartoon strip was created, I believe, in the 1930s. And it had to do with the Indonesian War that took place prior to Pearl Harbor being bombed. So the Japanese were expanding, and China brought in some American pilots, and they became part of it. And Terry and the Pirates, basically in the early strips, they're showing the Fighting Tigers, which were P-40 aircraft, and with the teeth on them, and that was part of Terry and the Pirates. So this picture here, it looks like he's riding a 500cc BSA, cutting through the jungle, and that brings us to open road radio. Santo, Gina Woods, and Chris Tiger Lady. Now, it was Santo that introduced Gina Woods to Chris Tiger Lady, and they created open road radio. I was brought on open road radio to do the sports report together. One of Gina's friends used this strip and put, you know, gotta get home, gotta listen to open road radio, using the black and white. I colorized it and made a t-shirt out of it, and it said, gotta get home, gotta watch Team Chicago Challenge. So this piece here, open road radio, I was part of open road radio for 3 to 4 years. Gina, Tiger Lady, in fact, they came up and took to school the 1 year that I used this artwork. So we're all one big happy family, open road radio, Team Chicago on TV.
The next t-shirt design features the Field Museum. Chris Tiger Lady got me involved with the Art of the Motorcycle exhibit at the Field Museum between 1998 and 1999. This was the design for the t-shirt that I gave to my instructors at Grattan Raceway.
This next piece I worked up, I got the original t-shirt up here. I recreated this t-shirt design here. And this will be available as a t-shirt if you're interested. You can always send me an email at teamdan45@gmail.com. But anyhow, I was involved. All right, let's talk about the Art of the Motorcycle exhibit. The Art of the Motorcycle exhibit was created in '98. It was at the Guggenheim Museum. And their concept was that motorcycles are beautiful pieces of art. Going all the way back, they even had a steam-powered motorcycle in the display all the way through the Britain twin race bike. And they put together a selection of motorcycles, beautiful motorcycles. You could look at the lines of motorcycles. I think 99.99% of all motorcycles are a piece of art and are beautiful. So Tiger Lady introduced me to the staff over at the Field Museum, and they were planning on producing a video that would be shown at the end of the exhibit. So you would go to the exhibit, you'd walk through the exhibit, they had 30, 40 motorcycles on display, they had a nice display, because I was involved with the video that they were putting in. I'm going to show you the videotape, because I shot probably 85% of all the video in this little clip. I did not edit the clip together, and but I'm pretty proud of my involvement, and they allowed me to come into the museum and shoot my 10 favorite motorcycles. So, and anybody other people take any pictures or shoot any film or anything, I was pretty proud that they allowed me to come in and do this one TV show called My 10 Favorite. But this here is new artwork I put together, and I'm pretty proud that I was involved with the Field Museum, the Art of Motorcycle exhibit, and let's check out this great clip that explains the spirit of motorcycling.
Chris Tiger Lady and I traveled to many motorcycle events during the summer and fall of 1998. We talked to hundreds of motorcyclists, and this video production shows that.
Why do I love them? strictly because it's the only way I can really express my emotions for performance machines.
It's truly a piece of art. Functional art, yes. These are not just motorcycles. They're high maintenance, but they're pieces of art. You mix and match your pieces.
Just a little bit of additions that make it your own, a little bit different than everybody else's.
You take off pieces, you chrome out pieces.
There's no chrome. I'm not into chrome. I could live without chrome.
They would buy a scooter and they'd customize it with everything and anything they could find. And if there was room to put something on it, then they put it on.
If you look at the engine, you can see the love that was put into crafting every single component.
The bike weighs 3,280 pounds. It's 17 feet in length. And the builder who made it, his name is Wild Bill Yelpke. I would build models, I would draw them. I would build models out of cardboard, out of wood, and I still do. My next door neighbor and I would build mini bikes from Stingray bicycles. We'd chop them down and re-weld them, put a Briggs & Stratton motor on there, and just ride around the block and the police would chase us. That was one of the things I upgraded. No single thing, because it's a composite of all these wonderful things.
I like the frame. I like this big piece here. It looks very powerful. It makes the bike look streamlined.
She fixed her bike one morning with a twig off a tree and made an electrical connection so she could last another 300 miles till the wood burned out.
The way it works is what makes it beautiful. Bill would just head off that way. 3 days later, we'd be back at work having gone to Oklahoma for no other reason than to be on the road. Well, it's really exciting. It's really scary, too. When you're doing three-digit speeds, it comes into its own, and you really feel very comfortable up there.
I feel so comfortable, and still I'm 7 months pregnant now, and I still feel great on this bike, so that makes me feel good.
I like to ride to the edge of the road to balance exhilaration and fear.
For me personally, it's the sound. I just like the way the motorcycle sounds. I like the way it performs. And it's the feeling of freedom. It's the wind in your hair, the bugs in your teeth. And probably the best ride for me is through the farmlands, the smells. Believe I never thought manure could smell so good, but it sure does on a motorcycle. You'd be quiet.
And the fields aren't like green anymore. They start to look blue and dark, and you see the sage and stuff.
It's exciting. You got all that power between your legs, loins, what have you, and you're shifting with one hand, you're braking, you're gearing, everything is you're utilizing on the bike, and it's exciting. It's very sexual and sensual rolled into one. Sexy.
Yeah.
It's extremely sexy. I just hadn't found out to who other than myself.
You know, I miss my bike when I don't ride. Every day, at least I'm thinking about my bike, and you know, my wife, I don't think she likes that, but that's the way it is. But this one is, it's just very special to me, and it's like my baby almost.
And there's me grabbing it exactly the way that it's supposed to be. So it's clear that at this age, I wanted to ride.
Mom used to hate me because I put bolts in my shoes and drag my feet down the street at night and put on a really spark show. So I've been riding illegally since the age of 12 years old.
We have breakfast runs every Sunday morning. Different people come to those. We have a poker run every year for charity.
I ride with my dad, and occasionally I have kids.
Been a motor maid for 25 years plus. The Motor Maid's an organization that's been in existence, I believe it's 57 years.
this event that's going on here. It brings motorcyclists together to help children who have brain cancer, and I'm now the president of the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation in the United States.
I'm with the American Lawman Motorcycle Club. I'm a member of that particular club because I like working with inside the law instead of outside the law.
I think today more people are realizing that it's not the, what do you call, the Hells Angels type out there riding now. I know there's everyday people out there riding motorcycles.
Unified lawyers, attorneys, scientists, all sorts of people riding motorcycles. It's just a hobby.
We do long road trips every year where it's like a caravan, and it's like you're on a trip with your family, but everybody's much better behaved.
Racing is the one time you can go as fast as you want. I like going fast on motorcycles. That's why I race motorcycles, and I race at the track.
You're out on a bike, it's kind of like a time machine, you know. The scenery's moving by you really slow, doesn't matter how fast you're going, and everything just kind of slows down.
Cycling for me has become a channel of self-improvement. For some people it is yoga, others find it through meditation. For me it is two wheels and a twisting highway.
We are the participants in life. We're not the folks that sit home on our sofas and watch television all day long, but rather we get out and live life and are participants.
I'm more excited to be a rider than a passenger.
And you just enjoy your ride home, even if there's traffic, you enjoy it.
There's really nothing quite like it.
I had a great time shooting all that video of great motorcyclists with Chris Tiger Lady. For more information on Chicago Access TV, give them a call at 312-738-2800. To get a hold of me, it's teamdan45@gmail.com, and remember, you can always search on YouTube with Dan Schmitt Motorcycle Racing for great motorcycle racing action.